We continue in this episode on with the flawless accounts of future events made by the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. In the second year after the Muslims being persecuted, fled Mecca and migrated away from it to Medina, the Battle of Badr took place. One of the right-hand men of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, Umar ibn al-Khattab, he says, the Prophet ﷺ actually showed us where those enemies of ours who had tortured us and taken from us so much would die the next day. He would walk over and kneel and place his hand somewhere on the ground and say, this is where so-and-so will die by God's will. And this is where so-and-so will die as well. Umar, the narrator, continues to say, and I swear by the one who sent Muhammad with the truth, not a single one of them fell the next day, once the battle took place, anywhere other than where the Prophet ﷺ had tapped, touched, and pointed. The Battle of Badr took place in the open lands, in the wilderness, if you will, in a vast plain, nowhere else. As a good friend of mine once said to me, if a person in a tight boxing ring or in this brutal cage fighting sport that's popular nowadays were to say, I bet that so-and-so will win, when there's only two fighters, it becomes risky. And if you were to say, so-and-so will win at this moment, in this corner, that would just be unbelievable. And so the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is speaking about thousands of people on the battlefield, identifying that tomorrow, this particular one will fall in this particular spot in this vast expanse. This was not guesswork at play. This was God's knowledge on display. In another incident, Anas ibn Malik, a companion and servant of the Prophet ﷺ, said that when the Battle of Mutah took place in Jordan, 600 miles away from Medina, the Prophet Muhammad was not able to go out with them in that campaign. He was there in Medina delivering a sermon to the Muslims present in that city at the time and saying that Zayd ibn Haritha and Ja'far ibn Abi Talib and Abdullah ibn Rawaha had all been martyred. And not just this, he was saying it as it was happening in the order and sequence in which it happened. Anas says he stood in front of us and said to us, Zayd ibn Haritha has been slain and martyred. And then Ja'far grabbed the flag and he too fell and was martyred. And then Ibn Rawaha has taken the flag. Now Ibn Rawaha has fallen and been martyred. Anas says, while the tears were flowing down his face as he was delivering this sermon. And then he continued on to say, then the flag was picked up by one of the unsheathed swords of God, Khalid ibn al-Walid, and Allah granted victory at his hands. That army eventually returns to Medina with dozens upon dozens of eyewitness accounts matching exactly what the Prophet ﷺ had just described. In a third incident, Sahl ibn Sa'ad reports that the Muslims had taken up camp one night while with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, after a long day in battle. The Prophet ﷺ overheard them celebrating the valor of a man who did not encounter anyone without vanquishing him. Just as they were admiring how no one was able to outdo this man or stand in front of him successfully, to their shock, the Prophet ﷺ said, rather this man, meaning who you assume to be a devout, sincere warrior of God, will be in the hellfire. One man said to himself, I will shadow this man myself tomorrow. In the next bout of battle, I will get to the bottom of this. He followed him at every turn and then returned at the end of the next day, yelling and shouting to the Prophet ﷺ, I testify that you certainly are the messenger of God. He said to him, what makes you say this? He says, the people were all shocked when you said this man would be in the hellfire, so I said that I would follow this man throughout the day. And this man fought valiantly but then he was severely wounded and he sought to hasten his own death. And so he placed the handle of his sword on the ground and the tip of his sword between his chest, and he leaned forward on it, killing himself. Cautioning them against being pretentious, insincere, hypocritical, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, certainly a man may perform the deeds of the people of paradise, or so it appears so, and they are actually bound for the fire. And people may perform the deeds of the hellfire, or so it appears, where in reality they are bound for paradise. The sincerity of the hearts is what he was calling their attention to. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon our final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.